Welcome to the Scotland Football Magazine. And now in the last episode, we got the privilege to talk to the team manager, the head coach, Tonderai Stanzandirai. It's so much to say. Now, the pre-season is one of the most fundamental and important aspects of any team. This is the process where they go by going through their drills before the season starts. And we're going to be understanding a little bit more about how Scotland and Coach Tonderai Ndiraya went through their preparations as they were preparing for the new season. Coach Tonde, welcome again.
Thank you for having me again.
So let's talk about your pre-season. Yeah. It was one of the most sought-after pre-season campaigns. You went to Zambia, but passed through Kariba. Let's talk about playing your pre-season games outside of Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I think we had an amazing pre-season preparation. Of course, we motivated that we wanted to go to Kariba first before we proceed to Zambia. So we went there primarily to work on the fitness of the players. We had 3 great days in Kariba, and I'm sure you understand the reason behind being in Kariba. It's a very hot place which can really condition our players. I mean, if players can prepare in such an environment, what more can a little England, they'll do well. So yeah, so that was the idea behind us going to Kariba. Apart from that, the terrain there is good for pre-season. We're also training in a little beach. You know, we trained in the shores of the Kariba Dam. That really helped improve the fitness of our players. So before we went there, we trained here in Harare, and then of course we really wanted to see how our players would fare against teams that are outside of the country. And we found Zambia to be the ideal country to go to. You look at their teams there, you look at the environment, the weather, everything is almost like in Zim. I mean, they say one Zambia, one Zimbabwe. So we thought if we go there, would also be equally at home, you know. So yeah, we did that. We had a great time in Kariba, played some friendly matches there, and then we proceeded to Zambia. Wow, Zambia was a bit hectic. We organized so many matches in a very short space of time. I think in total we played about 4 matches in less than 14 days. That is quite a lot. And I'm not talking about small teams. We played big teams, very big teams in Zambia. So yeah, apart from we really wanted to see how the team would then perform tactically away from the comfort of our home here. So we did that. We saw it. I think we got there on a Sunday, started trained on a Monday, and then played a friendly match on a Wednesday against a team which was in top form in the lower division, in Division 1. So physically our players were stretched to the limit. But we won that match 1-0. It was a very physical game, very competitive match. We saw what we wanted to see. And then I think the next match was against the Napsa Stars B team. They had a game on Saturday, but then we decided to play there, just like us here. They've got quite a number of good players. So those who were not in the match day squad are equally good, and we played them on a Friday. Unfortunately, we lost that match 2-1, I think. And then we then made a date for Tuesday, the following Tuesday, to play the actual team. Yeah. After, of course, they had a very good recovery time of 2 days. So we then, but before we engaged NAPSA on a Tuesday, we then played a second division team, the owners of the Woodley Stadium. They're in Division 2. They gave us a good run. We won that match. I think it was 3-0, 3-1. I don't remember the scoreline. But from our end, we also had 2 teams that were competing. We had one team that we were really shaping for the season. Then, of course, those that were slow in catching up in terms of fitness. So we played that team on Sunday to make it 3 games. And then we played NAPSA, which is a very big team in Zambia, on a Tuesday. Yeah, and we won that match 2-0.
Ah, wonderful.
You know, which really gave us an indication of how our team looked like, how strong our team was. Not just that. We played on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, we played one of the top top teams in Zambia, a police team which is called Mkwazi. So we played on Tuesday, and then played on Wednesday again. But we were using 2 teams because we took a huge squad to Zambia. Then we drew that game 0-0. So we really wanted to test on how much our team can take in physically, and we saw that that's when we concluded that, you know, we have a very strong squad this season. We were then supposed to play Red Arrows, the 2024 champions.
In Zambia?
Yeah, 2023-24 champions. We were supposed to play on a Sunday, but then there was a heavy downpour in Zambia on Saturday, which then rendered the pitch unplayable. So we then had to abandon that game and quickly come back home because our season was about to start. So the same weekend that we were supposed to play that match is the same weekend that the Charity Shield was played here, meaning that our next game was going to be the next weekend. So we came back from Zambia. I think we took the road on a Sunday, got here on a Monday. They never had enough time to recover. We were then surprised to have been fixtured on a Friday when we got in on a Monday. So our first match, we had to play it under very, very difficult conditions because our players, imagine the previous week they had played 4 games, and this was going to be probably the 5th game in 21 days. 5 games in 21 days is not a joke, especially if you are in pre-season. So that's what happened. That's why we had a very slow start to the season.
But then how instrumental was Zambia in making you realize that these are the guys that are going to be playing? And also, how much did it prepare you for the Kasolaga Premier League? As you said, you started against Triangle on a Friday. Yeah. How much did Zambia shape all these things?
Football is played on the pitch, yeah, not outside. We had made a lot of noise during recruitment. We brought in quite a number of players. But then when the pre-season started, we then got to see who could play and who could not at that moment. And that really helped us in making decisions of coming up with the final 30 players for the season. But unfortunately, also, Kama Billiard didn't participate much in the pre-season, as well as Walter Msona. And then, of course, Mtokozi Msebe picked up an injury along the way. So, but then, these guys had to start the first game. We had to make sure that...
But they start?
Yeah, they started. But when you have not done pre-season, your fitness will not be up to scratch. And sometimes it is very difficult for you to then cope up with the others. But we had to prepare them so that they would start the first game, because people wanted to see them the first game. So we did that, but we knew that our players were not really in their best physical condition. That's why I then said it was difficult for us in the first game. But the trip really helped us, because we were playing teams that had about 8 games left before the end of the season. So you can imagine, you are in pre-season, you are competing, and competing very well against teams that were already about to finish their season.
So there's the coach talking to us in the first segment about preparation, how instrumental Zambia was in terms of selecting their players. Unfortunately, some players like Wotamson and Kamabiliat were not up to full fitness, but they had to start. Such is the pressure that comes when you coach a big club and when you play for a big club. We're going to go on a break and we come back and understand his attachment in Turkey. We are still in conversation about preparation for the new season with Coach Stanza, Coach Tonderai Ndiraya. Now, it's not only about the players who have to be at full fitness. Now, he also went to take away his own attachment, getting ideas from Europe. Now, if you're listening carefully in the last episode, he was talking about ideas, about how players also have to perform at the best level like the European players do. Coach, the Turkey trip.
Yeah.
Also, coaches do go on attachment. How instrumental is that trip been so far in the season for you and your players?
Yeah, I think the whole idea about the trip was to go and, of course, learn and get to know the modern trends in football. I think Turkey is one of the top leagues in the world. But this time around, I didn't choose to go and learn from the Premier League. I went to the lower division. I think I had an attachment again around in 2020 in Belgium, where I went to a top flight team. But this time around, I had to go and also learn at a lower division team, Division 1. So basically, it was just for me to go and see how people there, how coaches there prepare their teams for a match. The build-up from first day of training, how they manage their recovery after matches, and then of course what they do on their first day, building up to the match on match day. So that's basically what I was learning there. And then of course exchanging ideas with the coach, and getting to see, apart from the technical things on the pitch, getting to see other things like how they feed their players, the diet, how they treat their players, how they prepare their players, you know. Remember I spoke about the Masua that we have in our team, Lino Ngwara. I've also realized that here, we as a league or as coaches, we haven't really embraced Masuas, you know, into our teams. We don't know the importance of those people, you know, to our players. So I learned about that when I worked with Logarusic, the former Warriors coach. The first thing that he asked for when he got to a training pitch was the team Masua. So that's when I started, you know, getting interest, and that's how we then got to recruit Lino Ngwara when I was still at Dynamos. So I then took him with me to Simbabora, and then I brought him here at Scottland Football Club. So they're very key. So I also wanted to see apart from the technical things, the medical part, how their medical team operates, how many personnel in that department and all. So the dietitian, the whatever, everything. So it was a full package. So I came back well equipped, and I'm glad to say that with the environment that I am in here at Scotland, it allows me to introduce all those things that I learned in Turkey. So food is also of paramount importance. Yeah, feeding the players. It's part of recovery. They would need, after working so hard, the players would need to regenerate by taking food, by eating food, and then of course taking those things that then aid their recovery. So all those things. And I learned quite a lot. And I then discovered that you are then now comparing and see that we are miles behind. We are still miles behind. So yeah, the build-up, apart from the game itself, how they then, I don't know if that is my area, but I also learned how they manage their supporters, you know, on match day. Okay. Yeah, so it was very, very interesting. 10 minutes, I attended one of their matches on a Sunday. 10 minutes before the game, there was no one in the stadium. But before kickoff, 5 minutes, 7-2, the stadium was full. And I was so keen to learn and to see how they manage their supporters at the gates. But they've got a very flawless system, to getting players as their supporters on the pitch. Then after the game, in 10 minutes time, there was almost no one at the stadium. Everyone was gone. So I was wondering how these guys manage their things. So all those things. So I learned a whole lot of things.
And then back home, we've noticed that you have an under-21 team. Yes. Let's talk about the integration of these young players into their senior team.
Yeah, firstly, let me appreciate what Honorable Sakpanya has done to this team. In a very short space of time, he's put together structures into his team. And I'm happy to tell you that we are in the process of forming an academy. So you'd not think that a team that was promoted into the Elite League this year has got those structures already. I will not mention names, but there are teams, traditional teams in the league that don't have those structures at all. So here comes a man who has brought in those things. I mean, we're going to have to give honor to him and appreciate what he's doing for our football. Okay. Yeah, so I have a background of junior football. I've been in juniors for quite a while. So this resonates well with my vision also. We brought in quite a number of stars into our team this year. And you don't want to continue on that trend, as a team. You want to develop your own talent and integrate it with the good talent that we have, and then continuously do that for sustainability. It's not sustainable to be buying 20 players in a season. It's not. You've got to channel those resources to
and develop your own players.
And develop your own players. So we have an under-17 team that is going to Dubai. They're going to participate in a sevens tournament. And I must say, it's going to be a very competitive tournament because there are teams from across the whole world that are coming for that tournament. You talk of Corinthians from Brazil, Benfica, you can name them. Quite a number of teams. So we've got a very good competitive under-17 side that is going to be participating in that tournament. And in that team is the boy that we introduced at the weekend, a 15-year-old Tadiwana Chakuchichi. He's part of that team. So we've got quite good talent in that team, and some of the boys in that team are also registered with us. So you've only seen Tadiwana Chakuchichi, but you're going to see more. We have Valentine Macheka, who is also a 16-year-old. We registered with the senior team. We have Jerome Muli. It's also an exciting midfielder. It's just that we can't play them all at the same time. But I would have really wanted to give those boys a run at the same time. But along the way, you're going to see those names, those boys popping up. We also have Sande Chibanga, who's also part of those. So apart from the under-17, the Honorable MP has also allowed our under-21 team to go to South Africa to participate in the Orlando Pirates annual tournament. I mean, what a great opportunity for the youngsters. So we have a Scottland Academy FC, a Scotland a Division 2 side, which is playing in the Division 2 here. So that's literally the team that is going to South Africa to participate in that tournament. What then it does is to give exposure, international exposure for that matter, to these boys, and you can imagine how they will then come back and integrate with the senior players that we have. One more important thing about the integration is if you look at the average age of our team, it's not the numbers are not so good. Most of our players are on the other side of 30. So we thank the Honorable MP for planning, for that period when all these players, all these stars call it a day. We have able youngsters to replace those players. So in short, that is about the academy and their integration into the senior team. We expect those boys to be taking over in a year or two.
Now, fun fact, Coach Tondera Ndira is not only the manager for the senior team, but he oversees all these other age groups, which means he gets to understand what's happening in the under-17s and also in the under-21s. We're going to go on a break and we come back and finish with more exciting stories. Welcome back. We got a chance to talk to the club president a few weeks ago, and he says it's only ideal that we finish fifth, but if we do manage to finish first, it's hallelujah. Now, Coach, everyone wants to know your aspirations.
Yeah.
They say it's not really feasible for you to finish first, but as a manager, you do have your ambitions. Let's talk about your ambitions with Scotland, where you want to see the team go long term. In the previous segment, you talked about the building for the future.
Yeah.
You do have a number of stars that are on the other side of their prime, and you're bringing in youngsters. Let's talk about the ambitions and where you want to go with the club.
Of course, my own goals as a coach, or my own target as a coach, is to win the championship. I mean, every coach would really want to do that. I did it at Simbabora last year, and naturally, if I was still at Simbabora, my target was to retain the league championship. So I've also then given myself that target, personal target. These are not team targets, personal target. If I won the league last year with Simbabora, why not go for the league again this year? I mean, that it's only reasonable for me to do that. Whether I was going to be at Scotland or any other team, that is my personal target. But like I've said, it's very natural and normal for a coach which notanga ma games which it in angwa and number 15, then you have a problem. If you ask every coach in the Premier League, despite the budget, they want to win the league. That is your ambition. So I did that at Simba, and my next ambition is to win the second title. So that's what I want. But of course, we also have to be very realistic. It's very possible if you look at the squad that we have assembled. But we also have got to be very realistic. This is our first season in the league, and we've got very strong teams in the league that have not won the league for quite a while now. I'll give a good example. Highlanders have 19 years now without winning the league. Yeah. So Highlanders will be asking questions. Who is Scotland to want to come and win the league when we've been in the league for a while and we now have 19 years without winning the league? Yeah. So we don't really want to put ourselves under pressure, and that's the reason why our president opted for fifth. You know, because that is a realistic target. It can be achieved, but also, if you ask me, the realistic target would be top 8, top half. If we finish, most teams would really want to survive relegation when they come into the league. But I mean, you want to survive relegation when you have Kama Billiard in your team, when you have Walt Amsona in your team. I mean, a realistic target will be top 8, if you ask me, yeah. But look, we are playing for the league. If it happens that we can win it, so be it. But a realistic target would be top 8 for me. But we'll try and chase the president's target, which is 5th. And I think he has done reasonably well for us to achieve that. The motivation is there. The players are well motivated. We are motivated. So why not go for the big one? So there's 1st, 5th, and top 8.
And top 8.
So we are in a very good space.
And then, Coach, before we close, this is one question that most people ask.
Yeah.
Pane pekutoka na player chitamba,
Yes.
you can clearly say, apa Walter atry kutamba sa Pogba,
Yes.
atry kutamba sa Mbappe.
Yes.
Do managers also go through the same thing, where you watch maybe Real Madrid versus Bayern at some point, and you want to implement ideas that you've seen being applied by top clubs?
Yes. I mean, that's what you want. In Europe, like I told, I was there. That's where football is, if you ask me. Yeah. So just like players, you also want to be a Mourinho, you want to be a Pep Guardiola. The problem is you want to be all those managers in one, which is very impossible. You know, but personally, I want to win, if you ask me. I want to win.
That's the ambition.
Yeah, I'm a direct coach. I don't believe in passing the ball forever. I believe passing is a basic thing in football. So I believe in quickly getting onto that thing, score goals and winning a game.
Get points.
That's what I believe in. So after having done everything, what is important at the end of the day, or at the end of everything, is the result. So I'm a result-oriented coach. I want to get results.
It's been an honor talking to you, and we wish you all the best in this current season. And maybe it be first, maybe fifth, or maybe top up. So thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tendai. It's been a pleasure.
Wonderful.
Having me on the show.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
So it still continues. It's the Scottland Football Magazine, and in these last 2 episodes, we were talking to the gaffer, Coach Stanza, Baba Frank, the man who won his title with Simba Bora and is aiming to win it again with the Scottland Football Club. Like we said, it's always exciting to give you nothing but the best of sports. And to everyone who's been watching, we wish you all the best in your Easter holidays. From me, Tendai Splendor, let's catch each other again next time, same place next week.